Okay, so we are live with episode 6.1. It's our first point one episode of season 2 of Podcast for All Seasons. My name is Josh Mundy, and with me, somewhat like always, is Eric Joseph. However, today we're going to switch things up a little bit. So we're still technically on a hiatus this week, and we decided to just put a little something out there for everybody. So you don't forget about us. And more or less, we're still having the same technical difficulties. Eric's computer's still down for the count until he gets it fixed. We're not going to be able to do a regular podcast. So he's joining me, and he's going to chime in. You're only going to see my picture, unfortunately, because Google Hangouts refused to change my profile picture to our podcast logo as intended. Today, I'll let Eric introduce our topic as I normally do. Eric, what are we going to talk about today?
Hi, Josh, and hi to all of our listeners. This is Eric Joseph of DarkKnightNews.com, DCComicsNews.com, and Multiverse Entertainment. And thanks for letting me call in. I'm a big fan of my own show. Basically, since we were doing a bit of an experimental episode for this one, we wanted to just kind of geek out about something, not make it too big of a topic in case the audio isn't totally pristine on this episode. No one would feel like they missed anything too important, but we hope you at least join us for the ride. We're deciding to discuss Resident Evil 6, and yes, we're aware it's been out for some time now, but it's not exactly the first time we've talked about something that's been out for a while. I mean, we've done themed episodes. We've talked about James Bond movies that have been out since the 60s, for crying out loud. But a reason we wanted to talk about Resident Evil 6 is because for the first time I played it co-op with Josh recently, and aside from him playing the demo edition of the game, he had not played the finished product. So we sat down and we started playing the Leon Helena scenario first, which is probably one of the better ones in the game. And having played as Leon in my first and my single player go around, I decided to switch off and play Helena this time to see how the other half lives. But what I'll do right now, I guess, is I'll just kind of give my brief overview of Resident Evil 6 as a whole and from what I remember of it before I turn it over to Josh to let him give his opinion on what he's played with the finished game. And since he's played the demo, various scenarios, he can kind of weigh in on the other characters. But Resident Evil 6, it's a very different animal. It's much like Resident Evil 5, I refer to it as a Call of Duty game in a Resident Evil package. There are parts of the game I like and parts I very much don't like. Now, the reason we started with Leon and Helena is because it's the closest to the older Resident Evil formula, even though it's more like Resident Evil 4. And it's kind of, as I refer to it, the poor man's Resident Evil 4. But I admit that the game became much more enjoyable with a co-op buddy. Because it's fun to sit there with someone who is already familiar with Resident Evil and go through the game, shout things at the screen and whatnot. And I think we're about 2/5 through Leon's scenario. We just defeated Deborah in the catacombs, so we're about to continue from there in the next chapter. So we've yet to face the big fish, which is the next big encounter I can recall. So it'll be interesting once we get to the China portion of the game and everything. But going through the city streets was kind of cool. Even though going through city streets during a viral outbreak is nothing new in a Resident Evil game, this one kind of felt like it had influence from the Left 4 Dead series, which maybe Josh will back me up on. What scenario we'll go through next maybe we'll decide on the spot. Even though when I originally played the game, I played Jake and Sherry second. From a storytelling standpoint, it might be better if we play Chris and Piers next, although Chris and Piers might very well be my least favorite scenario in the game. That pretty much just was a straight up shooter, duck and cover firefights. I don't know how that's considered horror. There was really no puzzle solving in the Chris and Piers portion of the game. It's just pretty much no thinking, hold down your trigger finger, etc. Then the Jake and Sherry scenario, I will play as Sherry for my second go around. That one, again, I liken to a third-person shooter Call of Duty style, but also with elements of Uncharted. So it changed it up a little bit, but again, it's guys with Uzis shooting at you. So it's kind of funny that the C-virus in the game it's all subjective who you're playing as. It either turns them into a zombie or someone who's firing an Uzi at you. I guess there's really no rhyme or reason to it. The Ada scenario might actually be the best, except for like her first chapter, but when we get to that, we'll just have to switch off playing as her. I could use the phrase taking turns on Ada, but that sounds very obscene. I was told by our friend J.L. Anderson01, whom listeners should remember as being on many of our survival horror themed episodes, that apparently there was some DLC that gave Ada a co-op buddy. There's some male agent, but I never connected to Xbox Live. Never had much of an interest to. I mean, there are things back and forth that made me want to, but in a nutshell, that's my view of Resident Evil 6. I often, if you want to know my rating for the game, I'll tell you my nickname for it. I refer to the game as a Resident Evil 6 out of 10. So that's my rating of it. Who knows? There could be other parts of the game that I didn't enjoy single player that will seem a little better with the co-op buddy, but we'll see. Maybe we will elaborate as a subtopic in a future episode. Sometimes we like to revisit things here and there, but not totally repeat ourselves. So, Josh, why don't you tell our listeners, what do you think of the co-op experience so far, even though you're experiencing what I said was one of the better scenarios, and maybe you could at least share your opinion on some of the others, at least based on your demo experience.
Well, I actually enjoyed what we played, and I did enjoy parts of the demo that had the Leon scenario. I thought that the Jake section was also, somewhat enjoyable in terms of it feeling a little bit more like classical Resident Evil. It feels more like, RE4, which I know RE4 isn't classic Resident Evil. I think that the game that's really knocked it out of the park as far as that classic RE feel and has really nailed every aspect of it was truly the remake. It had that very Resident Evil feel. The control scheme was very similar. It was in terms of its action and its pacing and its horror elements, it was very much like the original RE and even RE2, RE3. But as far as RE4, when it kind of revitalized the IP, it definitely it definitely made the game more accessible to a modern audience. And I know that Eric hates the word accessible because it usually means dumbed down, or it tends to mean that it's been I don't know, nerfed in some way, to use a nerd term. But RE4 is one of the best RE games in my opinion, and so any similarities to RE4 can be construed as a compliment. And I think that the Leon part that we've played so far, all the stuff that I had played from the demo, we've already gone through in the actual campaign, and what we played so far it does feel like some of the later parts of RE4. It's a little bit more action based. There are some horror elements in the very beginning. I kind of like the more plotting, methodical RE in that, you know, it makes it feel like there's a little bit of mystery. There's that horror element. You're not exactly sure what's going to happen next, and it seems like at any moment, you know, that someone can jump out and scare you. You know, everyone remembers the infamous, you know, dogs jumping through the windows scene in the original RE, and that's kind of been a genre mainstay of the horror genre of video games, but specifically Resident Evil, you know, nails those moments at times. I don't feel as though it has a lot of those elements, and so it doesn't nail perfectly the classical formula. But what we played, we enjoyed. I mean, like, it was similar, like I said, similarities to RE4 make me enjoy it, but it does fail in some other aspects. You know, too much of a little bit of an action adventure. Now, what I have played from the demo, as far as the Chris scenario, was really, really god awful. You're literally running around with a machine gun, and you know, I think maybe Eric can agree with me or disagree with me on this point, but I think that when we first played through, say, RE1, or saw some of the, you know, early motion video of, say, RE2, and you see the, you know, the police who are armed with machine guns getting attacked by, you know, 5 zombies and being run down. It's like, no, when you have a machine gun and you're fighting zombies, they die. They die very fast. You have a machine gun and you have several guys with a machine gun. It takes every bit of the horror element out of the game. It doesn't. It no longer is a scary premise. It doesn't feel like the horror genre. It feels very much like, you know, Bro of Duty, or Gears of War. You know, it's duck and cover firefights with non-zombie characters. I mean, they're infected, but they're not really the classical zombies. They're not even similar to classical zombies by that point in the demo, at least that I played. And then, you know, I know RE4 introduced these really gigantic boss fights like the El Gigante, but the boss fights, the mini boss fights that you have during the Chris scenario, they just did not feel like I guess, you know, the classical RE formula. I mean, to not beat a dead horse, but and there were parts of RE5 that felt very similar to that. So I mean, we've probably spoke about that game at least once or twice, but it was an enjoyable experience, and I see what Eric's talking about. Yes, with co-op partner, it's much more enjoyable if you're sitting there playing it with somebody who actually enjoys RE6. I mean, I do look forward to finishing the rest of the game just because I want to have it in my hat as, you know, something that I've played. I've played all of the other RE games, so I don't want to leave this one out. I just wish that they would kind of go back more to the roots. There's been other. Eric, maybe you can refresh my memory. The name of that, it was The Evil Within, which was, I believe, created by one of the original RE creators.
Well, it was the creator, Shinji Mikami.
Oh, was it Shinji Mikami? Okay, I couldn't remember. But you know, what I mean is, you know, I think a back to roots, more classical feel is something that they could benefit from in RE. I know that, for example, you know, Tomb Raider has had some success. You know, when you say back to roots, Lara Croft, it's really not in the vein of the original Tomb Raider game, the new Tomb Raider remake, but it has that feel of getting back to, you know, the roots of what the character is supposed to represent. It has those thematic elements of the game. They wanted to put an emphasis on the fact that, you know, how do you get this, you know, I guess hoity-toity female archaeologist to become you know, a badass action heroine? Well, you basically put her through a survival ordeal. I think that they've excelled in remaking that IP, and I think that if they did that or tried to do that for RE, they'd be successful. That being said, I think that Revelations 2, based on all the gameplay I've seen of that, seems to be doing more of what I would expect or want from RE7 if and when we get RE7. It seemed like a little bit more back to basics, classical RE gameplay. So what are your thoughts on that, Eric? Where do you think the genre is going to go as far as RE is concerned? Do you think they're going to go back to basics, or they're going to continue more in the same vein?
Those who may remember who listened to some of our recent Resident Evil themed episodes with J.L. Anderson Year One, which I think we did right before. I think the last one we did was right before Revelations 2 dropped. But yeah, we agreed from everything, and she's played most of the game the last time I asked her, and it's more horror oriented and more in the style of RE4. It's not still the classic Resident Evil 1 through 3 Code Veronica model, but I do intend on picking it up sometime in the near future. However, even though Capcom admitted 6 was a commercial and financial underperformer, and they wanted to go back to the horror elements, they also made a recent statement that the more horror-oriented games would be spin-offs like
Eric, you cut out. You still there, Eric? Well, unfortunately, I lost Eric. That's exactly what happens when you are dealing with an actual connection over a phone. Again, I'm not 100% certain that we'll continue to do episodes if the quality of this particular episode is not fantastic. But that being said, I hope that he will get back with us very shortly. Ah, there he is. Eric, sorry you cut out there.
Yeah, calls dropped. That's the wonder of, I guess, the experimental nature of this.
That's exactly what I was just saying.
We should have done this on your work number. So I think the last thing I was saying was they said like 7 would be more accessible, so I'm still fearing that it's gonna go by this third-person shooter model instead of maybe going back on track to what the series would be to make it Resident Evil, because I think I've used this analogy before on the show. I might have, it might have not, but I use it a lot in conversation and talking horror games. Resident Evil over the years has morphed into something else. Now, Silent Hill, despite the fact that certain games have taken chances and gone in different directions gameplay-wise, Silent Hill has always remained Silent Hill. It's never lost a step when it comes to those intrinsic properties. But that brings me to thoughts about Resident Evil 6 for now. We didn't want to make this too lengthy of an episode, so Josh, any final thoughts on Resident Evil 6 before we move on?
No, we can move on. I'll just say as a last thing is I do look forward to finishing the game. I mean, like I said, we love the games. We've loved them since they came out, and I look forward to finishing it. It's just, I mean, I'm not, playing through what we've played so far, I'm not exactly in extreme disappointment for the fact that I haven't, purchased and finished the game yet. It looks like the Leon scenario is going to be enjoyable, but there are going to be large portions of the game that I'm probably going to be disappointed in. And I guess I'd much rather just be, happy with on completion than, disappointed upon completion, for lack of a better way to put it. But why don't we move on to, we were just going to mention and talk new comics. What did you pick up recently?
That's a thing. I haven't been able to get up in the shop, up to the shop in a few weeks. It was kind of not working by me. I haven't been able to get all up in the shop. Sounds like something's going on with the shop, and I'm all up in that. But anyway, moving on. I am finally going to get up there by the weekend at the latest, so I'm finally going to pick up my copy of Batman Eternal number 52.
No, you still haven't got Eternal 52.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it ends. I've kind of read reviews online, but nothing that would spoil it for me too much. I haven't read specifics, but I do like how Eternal has gotten the feedback that it's a more satisfying conclusion to a weekly series than we've gotten in a really long time, because a lot of people seem to be let down by weeklies in the end, and they said, Scott Snyder, James Tinian, and the rest have done a really good job. Not every issue was a winner, but most of Batman Eternal was well rated, and you have to applaud them for that. And to make it come together, and the fact that they're going to do a Batman Eternal season 2, I think shows that it's a success tongue tie. All we really know about season 2 is that it's going to be a bit more Robin focused, because whereas Batman Eternal is a celebration of Batman 75 in a way, Batman Eternal season 2 is going to try to observe Robin 75. So it hasn't been formally announced yet, but it'll probably kick off sometime by the end of the year, I'd say. So I believe, I can't remember what my colleague Ryan at Dark Knight News rated the final issue of Eternal, but he did give it a pretty favorable score, and he did say it was a satisfying conclusion to a satisfying series. I'd just also like to mention a few bits you can read of mine this week. Be sure to head to darkknightnews.com for my review of Harley Quinn Volume 2 Power Outage. I highly, highly recommend that. It's available now in comics and bookstores everywhere. And if you're a Harley Quinn fan, you'll love it. If you just want to read a fun comic book, you'll love it. I'm not even really a fan of Harley Quinn. I like Harley Quinn cosplayers, but I'm just surprised I've enjoyed this series so much, and I did like the first volume a lot, but the second volume is just even better, and I'm really hoping to read the fourth. The third volume, excuse me. Though I'd probably like to read the fourth whenever that drops, but the third volume I do know is going to come out like late November, early December, something like that. And then I think that's kind of non-comic review related, but I attended Midwest Media Expo over the weekend, so you can also see my coverage of that convention over at darkknightnews.com. And before I get off the topic of comics, I just want to say that even though I haven't received anything from RG/Dark Circle this week, it's highly likely that I will. So for any RG and Dark Circle reviews, keep an eye on our blog site, multiverseentertainment.wordpress.com, because if I do receive those, I'm guessing I would probably have those reviews up before the weekend is out. So, Josh, what have you been reading?
I picked up a absolute shit ton of stuff yesterday. So I grabbed pretty much all of my regular titles convergence tie-ins, which would mean Superman, Man of Steel, Superboy, Supergirl, Aquaman, Green Lantern, Batman, Batman and Robin. Actually, no, I don't think Batman's out yet. Just Batman and Robin. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, Batman, Shadow of the Bat, Batman and Robin, and maybe a couple others. Plus, I picked up Convergence 2. I also managed to grab the Ivan Rice variant cover because, well, it's fantastic, and 2, because I'm going to be very happy to get that signed at Motor City Comic Con by Ivan Rice, who's going to be there, which is awesome. So I also picked up Star Wars Darth Vader #4, and I think that was pretty much it. So, but I'm just pouring into Convergence right now. I haven't read but more than one of the books so far, but I think I read, actually I just was interested in the Supergirl Matrix one just because, not like I was a huge fan of her character during the 90s, but it was just the most interesting one in terms of like a departure from the character right now. And then I'm probably going to I'm probably going to read Green Lantern next, just because that whole parallax thing that they're touching on was obviously such a huge part of his late 90s, early 2000s. Oh, no, it was late 90s. Late 90s character of GL, when he went crazy and kind of, killed half the Green Lantern Corps. But
actually talk about Green Lantern Parallax in this week's DCL Access, which I have posted on Dark Knight News. I believe the headline with DCL Access, Gotham's new villain, because they talk a bit with Milo Ventimiglia in that episode as well.
Yeah, Milo Ventimiglia. I really enjoy him. So I'm liking everything that I'm seeing about that that appearance on Gotham. Met him at Comic-Con last year, actually, Detroit Motor City Comic-Con last year. He was a really nice guy. But I think that's pretty much it as far as new comics is concerned. I mean, I have actually quite a thick backlog of books to go through. Plus I'm digitally reading a few titles here and there, specifically Walking Dead, so which is still trudging along. But other announcements. Let's wrap it up because we're not quite at the half an hour yet. But by the time we finish up talking about this, we will be. Big announcement. I'll make one real quick. So latest little bits and pieces we wanted to mention of pop culture news. They dropped the new Star Wars teaser trailer today for The Force Awakens. That dropped about, I want to say 3 hours ago at the most, maybe 4. And it is friggin' awesome. If you love Star Wars like I do, you will absolutely be blown away. Even if you're not a big Star Wars fan, it looks like a really epic sci-fi awesome film. So you need to check it out anyway. Eric, you want to talk about that other big thing that was going on?
So, the Batman vs. Superman teaser trailer.
That's right.
Last night. Well, the teaser for the trailer. You've probably already seen it if you're listening to a show like this, but we have it over at Dark Knight News as a featured post, so you can check it there. But the trailer itself will be dropping Monday at select IMAX theaters across the country, and guess who's going to be going to one? Josh and I. So we're going to be among the first to see the trailer, and it's special to me. It's my two favorite characters together for the first time in live action. They shot the movie in Detroit. I went down to the set last summer, so it's a movie that's always going to stay with me. So I'll be excited to see it. I think the trailer is set to drop online probably next Tuesday. So the rest of you won't have to wait too long to see it. And Batman versus Robin dropped on DVD this week. I just picked up my copy today. Haven't been able to view it yet, but.
Are you going to be doing a review for that as well on DKN?
Batman versus Robin?
Yeah.
I didn't receive a review copy for it. This is just me going to Target. So with other features I have coming up, I probably won't be writing a review for this one. Maybe we'll do an oral review of it on a future episode of the show after both of us get a chance to view it. But
all right, that sounds like a plan.
Maybe someone will write up. If it's possible, we'll have someone do a review on DKN, but I can't guarantee it because there are other reviews and features we have planned, and I just don't know if we're going to get around to it.
All right, well, let's wrap up. So I'm going to close this out. Eric, any last final thoughts?
No, I'll let you plug the sites this week since you're the one who has better audio. So I'm just going to thank everyone for listening, and hopefully we'll see you sometime soon.
All right, so yeah, thanks again for listening, guys. Like I said, a little bit of an experimental episode. Hopefully, it's not too bad audio to get through. You know, a little bit of content we'd like you to hear. And as usual, I will plug the regular site. So darkknightnews.com as well as dccomicsnews.com. Check out those websites for, you know, Eric's always posting reviews, fresh new news about all things Batman and DC related. Also, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/a podcast for all seasons. And last but not least, our blog page, which is multiverseentertainment.wordpress.com. And you can check out all of Eric's latest Archie previews, Dark Circle previews. Anything that's not directly related to DC or Batman tends to go up there as well. So check out the pages, and thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys later, and have a great night.